Okay, today we'll be discussing a few more tricks and tips in Excel. So first of those is oftentimes you come across situations where data is across multiple sheets. Okay, for example, like this. So we have sales related data. Okay, in each of these segments across various product categories. And for each of the regions, we have separate sheets. So for East, Midwest, South, and Pacific, we have different. Now we don't have a total of it, and we need to basically use all these 4 sheets, which are from different regions, to basically get the summary of the entire data. In each of these segments, in each of these product categories, how many of the sales we have made overall. So and if you would notice the sheet structure, the data structure that which we have seen, it's same across all the sheets. So what I mean by structure, so the order of rows or columns, and within each cell in a particular sheet is represented the same information across the sheets. So for example, if we see first, let's check the order of rows and columns. Okay, so for East we have retail, wholesale, and internet, and then we have couches, recliners, coffee tables, and end tables, and this order is carried across all the sheets, right? If I'm just browsing through the sheets, the order remains same. And the other thing we can notice is, so the cell reference is also remains same. So if I say B3, right, it's representing the same retail segment, couches related sales across all the sheets. So that is one. So we say that, hey, all these sheets are in sync, they have the same format. So when the case is like this, when we have same format, so I can simply go ahead and create a summary with a very simple formula, saying that I'll just go to my East sheet and click. You can notice the formula on the above. I will just click plus. I'll go to my next, and I will click plus again, and likewise for all the sheets. Actually, this is the last, and click OK. And I got my total from all the regions for this particular segment. Right? I can just expand it, and I'll get the totals for everything. So this is a very simple case. But oftentimes, most likely there is a chance that you will come across the structured format only, but every now and then you may come across a case where the data is not so structured like this, that you can go ahead and directly use this drag and drop feature. So oftentimes it will be in the first sheet, it will be like this. In the second sheet, it may be some other cells are referring to it, and possibly the order of rows and columns is not same. It could be like this. In that sort of a situation, what we can use, there is a particular feature called Consolidate. We will use we will see how to use that and get the summary when the sheets are so different. So you have to go to your data tab, and there's a feature called Consolidate. Okay, in the data tool section, and click on Consolidate. Let me first actually remove all this. So, and what you have to do is, here you need to give all the references to all the sections of the data from each of these sheets. So for example, I'll go to East, and I'll select this particular section which I want to copy, right? So remember, I'm giving the row labels and the column labels as well, and click add. Once East is done, I'll go to my other regions, and I'll select the same corresponding region in each of those sheets, and I'll just add those. And do this for same South, click add, and I'll go for Pacific, and I'll click add. Okay, and there is a couple of checkboxes here. Use labels in top row and the left column. So what this is basically telling is, so when you check these things, it'll basically look into each of these selected references and take the first row and the first column as your label. So for example, let me just click these things, and it will automatically match the names. So wherever, even though we don't have the same order of rows and columns, so it will match the names with the other references and automatically sum up the right values. So let's quickly see that. So let me click OK. and it has given me a total like this. So let's just validate with this with the our summary, whatever we have. So retail couches, we have 4870 and 4870. Everything else will be same as well. So 17980 is the last internet total. Okay, internet total 16840. Maybe so I might have actually changed the data somewhere. So let me let's actually calculate this. So the data is actually slightly different. I might have edited it. So let's just calculate this couches internet 4080, right? So internet, so 1090. Let's just take 1090 plus internet couches plus in south internet couches, and in Pacific internet and couches. 4080 and 4080. Yeah, so it's just that in the summary, these sheets may have some other edited data. I might have edited it, but the overall feature is it will basically, what we'll try to do is, when you have different rows, order of rows and columns, it will automatically synchronize based on these row labels and column labels and add up the right values. And in the consolidate sheet, you just it's not only you can do various other functions apart from sum as well in the using the same methodology that we have discussed. And there's one other option here called create links. Okay, so it basically keeps the data fresh. So let's say, for example, in the east region, I come here and the end tables, if I make it, so currently if my retail end tables, okay, is 5810, I'll come here and change the retail segment to, I'll reduce it by 1000. So we would expect the 5000, that value to change, reduce by 1000, but it won't. So the one way we can get that is by going to consolidate again and checking this option, create links to the source data, and click OK. You will get this data, and so now it's updated. So if I go change it back to 2000, this wherever we have the updated one, it will change. Wherever we are checkbox that particular create link option, it will automatically update, whereas the other one will not update. So this is my first feature about.
Hey, David, one quick question. Hey, this is a great feature. So just can you click on, let's say, C12?
C12?
C12, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so there, what is it doing? It is C8 to C11. C8 to C11. Okay. Okay.
Oh, actually, so the formula is actually slightly different in both the situations. So whenever we check box that create link option, so it gives us some other these control features, and it basically takes into all these accounts, and this is what the formula it's giving here. It's taking the sum of all this.
Okay.
So I'm slightly unclear of what these things are exactly, so I didn't even go into it.
Oh, okay. Got it. So basically, let's see. Okay, got it. Understood. See, what it did was it basically created links to each of those cells, and it just added it up. That's what it's doing.
So I think, yeah, this is East, this is Midwest, this is Pacific, and this is South. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think it's basically automatically doing the linking part. Okay, got it.
Right.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, great. Okay.
So this is the first feature about Consolidate, and the next feature, the next tip is something related to filters. Okay, so we are all aware of filters in Excel and how to use them. So a quick shortcut to get filters on all entire data set is Control-Shift-L, and let's say so I have lots of data over here. Let's say in the department field, I'm only interested in, let's say, looking at particular department called account management. Okay, I'll click OK, and now I only have account management data. I have some 88 rows. okay, from the account management. And I can also go ahead and select some other filters on other fields, saying that, hey, I would want only full-time employees from account department management. And now 70 or so have reduced to 48 rows, right? Now, as you might have noticed, this particular filters, we have two filters over here, and they're working with the AND logic, right? So all the rows which are falling in account management and full-time. So, but what if we want to get a filter with an OR condition? Let's say, for example, all the rows which have a department account management, or all the rows which have a status value as full-time. How do we get that? So there is a particular feature in an advanced filter in Excel. Let's try to explore that. But before that, let me, looks like there is some hidden data over here. Okay, got it, no problem. Let me clear filters. It's about okay. What you have to do is, let me first just insert a few rows at the very bottom with the top, okay, and let me bring this to the top as well. And I'm using this section of rows to create conditions for my blank or filter. So what I'll do is, I'll just get my account management there, and in the status field I want a full-time status, so I'll put that there. And if you go to data section again, okay, and there is a filter option, there is a advanced filter option, just click on that, and it will try to automatically guess the range of data based on which you want to filter. List range. If you want something else, you can go ahead and select here. And there is another option here called criteria range. So here is where we specify this region. I want to filter based on these two fields and these two values that I've mentioned at the top. So I'll specify that, and I'll click OK. Now what it will do is, as you can see, again I'm getting 48 rows. So basically it did the same AND logic. So all the rows with account management as the department and the full-time as a status. Now for me to change this to an OR condition, all I have to do is, so I'll instead of putting these two values in a single row, I'll just get them in the let me, spaces are not right thing here, so I'll just put them into two separate rows. Now I'll and the filter will, remember that filter will not automatically update. You have to, every time you change the values, you have to go to advanced filter and update it again. So my data range is right. I'll select this thing, criteria range again, this time with a slight difference, and I'll click OK. And as you can see, it's updating. I'll give it a couple of seconds. Yeah, so now I'm getting 434 records. Earlier it was only 48 records. So if I scroll down, all the account management people are getting, and in the wherever there is the rest of the other departments, I'm only getting the full-time status records. So this is the OR condition, and you can work with many other columns as well. So let's say if I want some other OR condition on this building field, I can go ahead and create another column and say and north, and it will basically give me add this also into the north condition. And so this is about the way we can filter with OR conditions on the dimensions. Okay, but let's say if you have to use the OR condition on a metric field like years here, right? So how we can do that is, let's say for example, let me remove this for time being. Spaces are not good again. So let's say I say I want people in account management with the years of experience more than, let's say, 10 years. Okay, how do I get that? So I take years field here, and I create a calculation simply by giving some reference to the cell in the years column in the data, and creating a condition saying greater than 10, that particular cell greater than 10, and I'll click OK. If based on the cell that you reference, you might get true or false, but it doesn't matter whatever the value that you get here. So again, select somewhere in the data, advanced filter, select your criteria range, department, and select these values, and click OK. Let me just do this for the time being. There's one particular issue here, but I'll get to that in a minute. Click OK. Yeah, so you can see the data populating again. So all the people in the account management department with the years of experience more than 10 years. So I can also go ahead and change this function. If I want less than 10, you can do the same. Click enter, and you get the idea. It's basically the same thing. Click OK, and it will automatically update with all the values that are less than 10. And you can go ahead and work with a similar logic on the dates as well. Just like how you work with the metrics, you can work with dates as well. The one thing that the reason that I blanked out this header is, I'm not sure why, but there is, for some reason, on metrics. So if you have the column data above, it tend to not give us the data, just like how in a couple of seconds ago it gave us the blank data, right? So only when we, for the metrics alone, when we keep the column header blank, it will work, but for the rest of the dimension sort of a thing, it will work even with the headers. So any questions on this advanced filters feature?
Yeah, Jagdish, could you show the criteria field once?
Okay, yeah. Oh, you mean the filter
criteria?
Yeah.
So can you click the criteria range so that I can see what the range is listing? So so now it doesn't assume that status is blank.
No, so wherever you put the value alone, it will take that value into consideration. It's not like if it is blank, it will not say, hey, the status can also be, if the status is blank, you can show that record also.
Okay, so for that we'll have to use code something like that.
So for blank values at the moment, there is no such data, but I will, if you have such data, I think let's actually check. I'm not quite sure though. Let's say I delete that and let me actually remove this. Now select these two, click OK. Yeah, I think it's giving that as well. So it will, even blank is considered as a value.
I don't think we have filtered it by that blank, right? So if you only do blank, so I want only the blank status values, for example, account management and only the blank values. So
no, as I said, it's working with the OR condition, as I said, right? So it's not AND condition here. If you want only blank, you can just directly go here and click on the blanks here. So the feature that which we are talking about will work on a OR condition, either the account management and status. So if you just want OR there, let me clear this out and use only status field, and click OK. I think even this is not working. So yeah, it's more of a like a OR condition for multiple fields. If you only want status blanks, you can directly use this feature.
Okay, maybe instead of that blank, try null or quotes. Maybe that.
Possibly. There's a function called isBlank, and
so Sanjay, you are looking for where status is blank, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. It is now looking for status equals false.
Yeah, actually, let me try this once again. Click OK. Yeah,
Yeah.
So as I said, whenever you are using this formula sort of a thing, the header needs to be blank, so it shouldn't have any value. So once that is there, I think it's giving us. But yeah, it's just a roundabout way to get to this particular procedure.
Yeah, understood. Thanks.
Yeah, Jagdish, that may be possible because it's looking for false and true in the status column when we have that header. Because in that in the department it's looking for only account management. So instead of the formula, if it's looking for the false and true value only in the status.
No, you're saying that why we are getting only account management?
No, like why we need to remove that header in this one.
Okay. Can you repeat? I didn't quite understand it.
So that may be possible because of it's looking for only false and true values in the status column itself. Like it's not going according to the formula. It's getting us only false and true. Like the string itself.
Okay. Possibly, I'm not quite sure though. I may have to look into it. I'm not sure why it's happening. But possibly, or whatever you said could be a possible explanation.
Satish, can you try once with header also, like for the same status?
Okay. Let me click OK. Click OK. This is what we get, blank data.
I think the reason for that it would be it's filtering out status column for each cell is equal to false. As we don't have false in the status column, it's just filtering out everything. Maybe we'll just try it out. Just insert one row, modify it with saying false in status column, and then we'll try it out.
Yep, same thing. It's trying to compare it with the string true and false.
Okay, let's see.
Now we will get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's the reason. So basically, if you want the formula to take into account, then we just delete the header. If you want the value alone, then we keep the header. That's what we arrived at. Okay, interesting. So
even we can directly pass in the formula through headers as well. If you want to have it on years, we'll just try it out. So you can delete you can have it F column with years.
Okay.
And if you want to have it like years, more than 10, you can just type in greater than 10.
Greater than 10. Okay.
No, equal to not required. Just type in greater than 10.
Okay.
Okay, and you can delete the false condition from there.
Right.
Now you can just update the advanced filter.
Okay.
Change the criteria range.
Okay. Great. Nice.
So now if you wanted to check the string, how will it know when to check the metric and when to check the string actually? Okay. If there is some symbol kind of thing in this data which is like this,
based on the headers, if you see years, right? So years is basically a numeric field. So as we brought in less than number, so it goes by headers.
Okay.
So if years is a string, then it will try to match it to exact string.
Understood. Okay.
I believe by default it is configured to work with those symbols in case the column is a number, right?
Right.
Hey, so sorry, I missed what Akhil did actually. Akhil, what did you say? Did you respond to that is blank thing?
Years thing, Chaitanya. So basically, we can even apply formulas with the headers as well.
Right.
So,
okay.
Instead of using equal to we are passing the condition, we can directly pass in what is the criteria that we are looking for. So as we see years less than 10, that is our criteria. So in that case, we don't require to delete the headers.
Got it. Okay. So just can I add something here?
Sure. Yeah.
So basically there are just a couple of things that I want to add here. So one is so in status, right, you can just put equal. That's it. Okay, there's nothing else. You just remove the other stuff also and just run it. Let's see what happens.
You mean here, Chaitanya? Equal? Okay.
Yeah, no, just the equal to symbol. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and remove the less than 10, and then just rerun it. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
There you go. I think did it do that thing?
Yeah, we are only getting the blanks.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one thing. See, the way these criteria works is, hopefully, Jairaj, that answers your question.
Yes, Chaitanya, understood.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I think there is also one more thing that you could do. I think, which is, let's say, this also does not work in a certain situation, and that is that let us say you have the equal to, right? So let's say you have created a formula, okay, and the outcomes of the formula are, let's say, yes, yes, and a blank. Okay, blank is when you give a double quote, then you can get a sort of blank out of it. There's nothing that it's outputting whenever that the criteria satisfies that blank thing. So what you could do is you could also do equals double quotes in status. So D2, you can also give equals double quotes.
Okay.
When you do this, I think so there is just a small variant. I'm not so sure exactly what. I think right now it has already worked for us just with the equal to.
Right.
And without when you give this, I think when the formula output is a blank, then it will recognize that too. It is not a true blank. It's just a blank out of a formula. Correct? You see the difference what I'm talking about?
Okay, understood. Yeah.
No, but in any case, I think so. So basically, these are the two options. Either you give equal to, in which case it has worked for us. But the other option is, if the formula is outputting a blank, then Excel wouldn't recognize it as a blank. It would recognize it as, hey, there is something in there. And for those situations, you can use equals double quotes.
Understood.
Okay. Yeah. So this is one thing I wanted to share. So typically, the way this formula works is something like this. Would you like to just try this once and see what the output is, and then we'll go to the other one?
Sure. Yeah.
I just have a question. So in case a column is specifically configured as a text data type, then I think there also the equal to double quotes will work, right? Because usually that is what that signifies, right? When we give a double quotes, I think it indicates text. Is that right? Or
equals double quotes means that I think that there is sort of nothing there. See, if you look at what happened here, so you did equal double quotes and it just filtered for everything here, right? I'm not too sure what exactly. I think this gave everything, right, Jagdish?
Right, because none of the status fields are based out on a formula. They are direct values.
Yeah.
Just taking a moment.
I think when it is equals double quotes here, I'm not sure how exactly it's interpreting, but there is a minor difference here. I don't know if it is sort of doing it as, so basically equals double quotes, right? So basically it took it as there is no criteria at all. Okay, there are no criteria. And so based on that, it just filtered for everything, right? So basically what I'm saying is when you give equals double quotes, what has happened is, see the cell, if you just go to the top,
Sure. Yeah.
that particular cell has returned a blank. Okay, so that cell D2 has returned a blank. Okay, so what this means is that there is no criteria that's being given to the advanced filter feature. Okay, and so it has just given there's no criteria. I'll just return everything. That is what seems to have happened here. Okay, you can also do one more thing, Jagadish, which is right before equal to put in the single quote. Okay, and let us see what happens now if we rerun it. A single quote. Yes. Okay, and let's see what happens. Now you are actually giving the criteria called equals double quote. That's what it's saying. My hunch says that Excel will return no rows at all, but I don't know if I'm right or wrong. We can try it and see. Okay, there you go. That's exactly what has happened. So what has happened now is it is basically taking the criterion called equals double quote. Double quotes means the cell has to return, the double quotes value. I don't know if you guys.
I think the single quotes is like an escape sequence, right? That's what we call it, I guess. It's like it's searching exactly for that equal to sign in this under the status column. Equal to sign followed by the double quotes.
No. I don't think that's what it's doing. What it's doing is, see, first of all, in the cell D2, okay, because you have put in a single quote, it is returning the text called equals double quotes. Okay. So what Excel has done, I think this is my interpretation basically, has done is, it is basically return equals to double quotes, right? Because it has given equal to double quotes, it now is taking in the criterion called, hey, the filter that I have to do, the criterion is, I have in status, I have to look for double quotes.
Right.
Okay. And that is what it has looked for, and it has not found anything. Okay. That's why it has returned a no return results. Okay. From whatever in that 9 to 751.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. So just so you know, single quote is useful like this. For example, let us say you want to type in, let us say, so in a separate cell, somewhere else, anywhere you can do this, Jagdish, just type in, just type in plus 5 plus 6. Right? Okay. So now hit enter. So this is a single formula, right? Very clear. So when you put in a single quote before that, okay, then what it does is it says, okay, yeah, so this returns the text called plus 5 plus 6. So basically what you're saying is, hey, this is not a formula. This is what you're saying.
Understood.
Okay, so it returns the text. So basically what we used was, we used that to say, okay, so don't interpret it as, so when you give just equals double quotes, what it has done is it has said, okay, it gives the output called double quotes in cell D2. Okay, but it is not giving the input called equals double quotes to the advanced filter functionality.
Understood.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I think it may be a bit confusing, but let's leave it for now. I mean, for you guys, it's it's nothing at all. You just look at it and experiment it. You'll figure it out. That's fine. Okay.
Sitanda, I had a doubt that it's not necessary to end the double quote, single quote, like quote plus 5 plus 6 and then single quote.
So you're asking, is it necessary or not? Is it?
Yeah.
So see, if you are looking for, so why don't we do this? So Jagdish, just do this. I just unfilter this.
Okay.
Okay. So in this now, so where you have false, right? D12.
Right.
Just type in equals double quotes. Yeah. So right now in the data, we have one row that actually has column D, which returns to double quotes. Right? Now let us rerun it. My guess is that it is going to return row number 12. Let us see if that happens or not.
With the single quotation before or not?
Yes. With the single quotation, because right now what the input that we're giving to advanced filter is, okay, find me something where status returns double quotes as in nothing.
Okay.
That's the input that we are giving. Let us see if it works or not.
Okay. Maybe.
Okay, I think looks like it has not worked, is it?
It would have converted into text. So right now it was trying to find equal to double quotes as a text field.
Yes, absolutely. Hold on a minute.
So if we put a single quote here, then it will find it.
Okay, let us see. Oh, no, not here. I think in D2 we have to do that, right?
No, both the places. Then only the text will be equal.
Oh, acha, okay. All right, let's see.
It's not opening.
I think it's probably open somewhere else also.
No, I have checked actually.
Okay.
Let me do this. No.
It has not worked. Okay, I think we will figure this part out.
Yeah.
But there's one more important
Put the
thing I
status
want,
header in the D
to tell you.
in the D column.
Sorry, Gerard?
Put that status header in the D. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that will work.
No, it has actually on a not. No, okay. Chaitanya, you're saying something.
Yeah. So basically, I would actually like to add one more thing here. See, the way this particular thing is, so the advanced filter. See, I think, so basically the way Jagdish has put it is, see, row numbers 1 to, sort of whatever number of cells you have there, those are all input to the filter inputs to advanced filter. The data is from row number 9 onwards, right?
Right.
So what you could do is, let us say if you have multiple criteria, okay, the multiple criteria can work something like this. See, if you put in the table the input, the filter input to advanced filter, you can actually give multiple criteria. And
Okay.
if you have an AND criteria, you have to give them in the same row, okay? But if you have an OR criteria, you can add in a different row. So for example, let us put in, let's say department is account management and status is contract, right? Can you just give those two inputs? Contract. And let's do the filter. Yeah. Okay, so this is what has happened. So account management and contract. So those two criteria are AND criteria, right? You have to have department equals account management and status equals contract. Now you do this. Now in a separate row, in let's say the row number 3, you give account management and hourly.
Okay.
Okay, account management and hourly. So basically what you're telling now, yes. So basically, yeah, perfect. Excellent. So basically what we are now saying is, one criterion is account management plus contract, and the second criterion is account management and hourly. Okay. And let us see if it works like we discussed. Yeah, there you go. It has worked. So so basically if you want to give multiple criteria, and you want them all to sort of, you want to add up the data for this criteria, then you have to give them in multiple rows. I think you can easily add 5 to 10, if my understanding is right, in terms of the number of rows, in the filter criteria. Okay. And if you want it to sort of accumulate and you want and, you can give, more and more criteria within the same row. Then it works.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, please proceed.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to my last step. So this is related to forecasting. So I have a bunch of sales data here, and I have aggregated the data for a month level. And what I'll try to do now is, let me actually try to create a line chart. Okay. So the reason that I'm including these two columns, I'll talk about it in a minute. So let's say I want okay. So I have this chart over here, which are basically monthly sales, and as you can know, I can format it in a lot of ways. And there's a particular option called add trend line. So for me to forecast what will be the next 4-month sales or etc. will be like. So I can choose the various models here, linear, exponential, and for the time being the data we have, it doesn't make much difference between exponential and linear. So I'll go with the linear and I'll say some next 6 months of data. I'll put 60 here, 6 months of data. So it's giving me a extended trend line for the next 3 months till July 16. But if this is sufficient for our use case, like just by looking at this trend line and looking at the ballpark number, that should be fine. But if let's say a particular case where you need the actual numbers of these projections, so that you can for each of these months, let's say if you have some number of the projected sales, you can have to tally it with the expenses that occur in that particular month and have a net value, what is the profit or loss that you made, so something like that. Then you need numbers for these values that were projected. Then now we'll look at how do we get those numbers of this projected value. Okay, so let's go back to our values here, and there's a particular function called trend, and that will give us the trend value. So for that, it's an array function. So you just have to select all the cell range for which we want the data, and click equal to, and call a function trend, and input all the y values, sales values that we have so far, and press Ctrl+Shift Enter. So for all the array functions, you need to press Ctrl+Shift Enter, and it will populate this particular trend value. So these are the values that for the line that which we see the dotted line in between, and I'm not sure why this is not popping up in the graph. Let me actually, okay, let me do this. Select data and include this as well. Notice, click OK. Oh yeah, you can see that the trend data is right falling on the top of the same, right, the dotted line. And what you can do is, for us, but it's only giving us till the 2015. I need the values later, right? So what I'll do is, so I'll just so at the moment, if you click on any of these value, you can see a function, right? So we need to replace these values with the values themselves, not the function. So for that, what I'll have to do is, there's a simple trick. You can copy paste them as values. So what I did here is I just right click and drag just slightly and put it in the same position, so that will open up this dialog box, and I can copy here as values only. Now I click on any value, the function is gone, and I just have that particular value. And what I can do now here is, let me extend this date range to June 16, and now I want these projected values. So I'll right click and drag to June 16, and it will show me linear trend or growth trend. So growth trend is something that refers to exponential model, and the linear trend is something that which we have selected linear model. And I'll click on that, and I'll get the projected values for this line as well. So I can go ahead and add these values in the chart also for me to see the orange line extend up until June 16. Any questions on this one? So there is this particular function, trend function, will give us the linear trend. There is one other function I'll not cover now, but there you can explore if you want, called growth function, which will give us a exponential model projections. It's the same function, and we can use it in the same way. Close it with this. So I'll select again the same values, Ctrl+Shift Enter, and it will give me the exponential growth values.